if you like to write, you're somebody who likes listening to voices in your head, which is kind of odd, but it's like, not really, like lean into it. Susie Timmons' Superior Packets.
Okay.
Was really associative. I like the way she like organizes the words on the page, but also it's been a while since I've read someone and like they really surprised me in that way, like making something inconsequential feel important. She's good at that, but like with syntax. Wave books. It's nice when you can like find someone's work who's already existed for some time. And I'm planning on finishing it. The Haunting of Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's Ishmael Reed retelling the like hidden truths that were obfuscated in Hamilton. But also he's kind of sharing in a new release a preface that like talks about kind of like the red tape he was faced with when trying to get students to be able to see his play, but also a desire to like not put it on, not make it accessible. And I wonder why. I mean, I know why, but there are multiple sides of the story, but it kind of feels photojournalistic. It feels kind of like, to me, Laramie Project. He's so good, and some of my favorite poets are playwrights too. Amiri Baraka, Susan Laurie Parks. I don't think she has any poems. Jean Genet had some poems. They're like really wild, but like he had some poems. I feel like it's Sonic, right? But also Sartre. Sartre really helps me out with like the Catholicism shit. Woo! Thank God for Sartre. I want to say like between like Harriet Mullen and Gertrude Stein on a macrocosm of just liking both of their work and seeing how it's interconnected. But also I think that like, and we talked a little bit about this, the whole death of the author, cancel culture. Gertrude Stein like wasn't loved by everyone during her tenure on this earth, but quite frankly, like I like it when that's the case. It's been nice like seeing how she earned the respect of others through her legacy. People are like not who they are. They are who we like know them to be. You know, no one's stagnant, but like the idea of people changing even after death is interesting. I like it when people are playing with history. I like course corrections. It's the best feeling loving someone's work, but like maybe you don't actually think you'd like get a drink with them. Philip Larkin's that way for me. I've heard some things from his life anecdotally about like liking jazz but not being like the greatest to black people. Which is ironic, but also that poem by him, Your Parents They Fuck You Up, that's like my like bird song. That was like Shel Silverstein. I mean, what are you gonna do, right? Everyone's human. I like redemption arcs posthumously. Sometimes I feel like that sounds really macabre. There's so much piety nowadays, but there's no like homework doing. That's what's really wild to me. Like, I think that's a self-policing, like the desire to be right the first time. And it's like, hey, like, if you're not like open to failing, David Woljan, who we were talking about earlier, he was like telling me that, you know, it's good for you to, you know, go to grad school, but you should be aware that like this is a lonely thing. I feel like sometimes everyone like wants to have like an opinion or a thought or a value assessment about something immediately after, which is, the Yelp comment section universe we live in. But sometimes, and I'll tell my students this, if you watch something or consume something and you're still thinking about it, maybe, that means something. This isn't a like straw poll. Like nobody's getting an award for you having and building your own taste palette. I want people to be able to like fight for their opinions. But, you know. Notes on the Woodshed, Jack Whitten's like journals. It's like from like the 60s to like the early thousands. His just journals. It's such a gargantuan endeavor, but it's really worth it. And like, I don't know, it's kind of been like my self-help talk book. That's like also super historically revealing. Like there's a section in it where he's talking about calling Kate Millett the B word, like a bitch, and her calling him the N word, and like how they got through that. And that's what I'm talking about. Life should be complex. It's not PC. And that's what I liked about the conversation that he admits to having. It gives me a glimpse into an era that is very much bygone. Another one I would say is Little Edges. This is Fred Moulton's new one. It's really great. It's kind of like, you know, one full swoop in a way. It reminds me of the Ross Gay, the basketball beholding, like the one long, but not in like the epic way, just like in the, every page seems to mean something else, but these are all connected. And I like that. I like a project, so I gave you two. It's a play again. Yeah, and I had the like ability to see this play in person, and Richard Pryor's daughter like directed it. Top Dog Underdog by Susan Laurie Parks. So it's like the John Wilkes Booth dichotomy, but also it's just very much like kind of August Osage County. Like it's about like fucked up family members doing fucked up shit to themselves, each other. Because it is kind of like a family narrative. But you know what? There is no play better than Lorraine Hansberry. I remember a teacher telling me that she was gay, and that felt like something people were hiding from me. I feel like everyone did A Raisin in the Sun or read it in high school, but no one knows Lorraine Hansberry was a dyke. That really pisses me off. In Dope Calisthenics, she is one of the people the book is like, dedicated to. And Jean Genet. The Malcolm Gladwell book, it was the more recent one. No, I listened to The Fresh Air. So it's kind of like reading it. I'm always grateful when like creative nonfiction writers stay in creative nonfiction. In that way, I'm just grateful that he didn't write a novel. Yeah. I guess, does that make sense? Maybe that's a backwards ass way to say that. The House on Mango Street. I actually didn't get like access to it until grad school for whatever reason. I don't know why. That felt like Lorraine Hansberry's gayness. I was like, why is my ass just now getting introduced at 20 years old? I should have been reading this like with like Nikki Giovanni. I think also every single thing that John Keane's ever done is underrated. Because we're all actually very lucky. Neon Vernacular by Yusuf Kamenyak, easy. Yeah. But I will say also Nikki Finney, anything by Nikki Finney. I actually haven't read Infinite Jest. Take it away, like, I don't know. It's like is the band gonna pull up? But I like, what I have read. I like Pale King. And I like this idea of like, whoa, like this shit was a prediction. But also like, forget about the man. Like, death of the author. This is just like somebody who's not here anymore who definitely predicted like the society we live in. Yeah. I'm interested in like, the uglier parts of this individual, but like not with the work. But I also did not get introduced to Mary Karr's work until undergrad. And I really fuck with her shit. So it's like, I like learning autobiographical information through our author's works. And if that's like messy, I think that's like a messiness I embrace. Dude, Ted Hughes has some bangers. Hate the guy. But deadass has some bangers. I hate to say, kind of like Phil Larkin. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't know. I just think it's like very low hanging fruit. That feeling of like, holy shit, I actually think I've read this before. I'm not talking about like, oh, I've seen this everywhere. I'm talking about like, I haven't felt this way since I read a poem that had this magnetism towards it. I remember reading like the Black Zodiac, Charles Wright, just being like completely enthralled, but having a similar feeling like reading John Keane or like someone like Jane Cortez or like even Wanda Coleman. My problem is like, I actually got exposed to anthologies too early. So like, I don't really see people through their books necessarily. It's like, this person hits. Like, that's kind of like the feeling, like it's like warm. So it's like a warm familiarity that like is also new, I guess. If it's new, like it's one thing. But I feel like sometimes I've read poems not for the first time and like had that feeling. That's like why I say like, it doesn't even have to be completely bombastic and like alien. It can be something very like familiar. I was rewatching Hustle and Flow. Okay. Wow. That does not pass the Bechdel. Let's just say that. There's some like heavy hitters from Ohio. Rita Dove is from Ohio. Steve Harvey went to Kent State and apparently he didn't graduate. I used to think that Kent State was an HBCU. However, the first HBCU ever was started in Ohio. Wilberforce University. It was a college started by a slave owner who wanted to educate his slaves. Wild stuff.